Don't go anywhere. This is your retirement designed differently with financial advisor Billy Voiles. He's the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs right here in Minnesota, offices all over. I'm your host, Spike Spengel. Billy Voiles, what exactly do we need to talk about this week?
I think we're going to talk about the how-tos of retirement. And, you know, if we should just YouTube stuff or if we should consult a professional.
It's all right out there.
Yeah.
It's on the interweb, and it's always factually correct. No, I loved that you offered this up here today, the how-tos of retirement planning. You don't like to have any secrets. You're not just going to talk about philosophies. You show people, you educate people, you do live events, a TV show, write books. Yeah. You give away the information. But even with all of this information, it's still nice sometimes, like you've said before, to have a coach, to have somebody kind of help guide you along the way. So the how-tos of retirement planning and what exactly a financial advisor like Billy Voiles does, we're going to go through that today. So how about this one? How do you get started on retirement planning if you feel like you're behind?
If you feel like you're behind and you sort of want to catch up, there's literal laws that have created catch-up contributions. But for some of these people, investing and saving is one aspect. But the other aspect is you might just be spending too much and a little bit too freely in spending. And I don't ever want to tell somebody to stop spending money, Spike. You know, I love encouraging people to spend their money in retirement. But if you're trying to catch up and you're under this sort of, you know, challenge to yourself, like I don't feel like we have enough to retire, then your budget's one area to look at in order to, you know, be mindful of how much you're spending. And is it really necessary spending? There's probably a few $100 a month going out the door in things that you don't even need, use, want, or otherwise. But then when it comes to investing in savings, we do want to do those catch-up contributions. And there is this new special catch-up contribution from 60 to 63 years old where you can put $34,750 into your 401k. And you can either do it pre-tax and get it all tax deferred, or you can do it in a Roth 401k contribution and have the whole entire thing grow tax-free from that point.
If you're even 60 years old, please don't feel like it's too late. Considering the fact that you might work for another 3 or 4 or 5 or even 6 years, up to possibly $30,000 and up to $34,000 for a 3-year window, 5-6 years of saving like that. And by the way, it's not necessarily that you're going to need all of that money the day that you start retirement. That could be growing for you. That can be compounding. You can be getting still employer matches for a while. Look, there's a lot to do. And I just want to say, I think there's a lot of Americans who feel like they're behind. So I think the first thing to do on the how-to today of what you should do if you feel like you're behind, how to get started. Just do a little bit. Start a little bit of planning, but do it with a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And having, you know, confidence in the plan and having that target date, right? Because we see this all the time where it's like, all right, I think I want to retire at 65. What would retirement look like then? And then we can sort of design, all right, here at 65, this is what it looks like. At 66, this is what it looks like. At 67, this is what it looks like. So that way you have a core understanding of what your income can look like at these various ages of retirement. And a lot of times we're still 3, 4, 5 years away. Things change, life changes, market's going to, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. How well is it going to perform in these different asset classes? So all of that sort of depends, but having an idea of where we are at today, right? Getting a real understanding of where we sit today and how that projects out for our plan in the future is necessary to make sure you at least start making those decisions to get yourself on the right track.
Of course, fundamental wealth design, right in there, we've got the word fundamental. And there's some fundamentals of understanding compounding, understanding how we should be making selections in our 401ks. That's not necessarily fundamental. We have to go and make selections in our 401ks, but how to fundamentally use them to get to our retirement, that information isn't out there. Do you mind reviewing somebody's 401k or whatever their work plan is before they get to retirement?
Absolutely. We do it all the time. And, you know, if you're not 59 and a half yet. For whatever reason, that age is thrown out there by the government as a legal age that we have to tap our funds without penalties. But we do not have access typically to actually roll your funds over or do an in-service rollover or move it from a 401k to an IRA if you're still working there, right? If you've moved on, then that's different. And we need to help you because it's in our best interest, it's in your best interest in order to have that 401k perform efficiently and effectively for you. So it's very easy for us, frankly, to open up your Fidelity, open up your Empower, or your whoever the man, look at your various investments, allocations, educate you on what these allocations mean. Because there are some of you out there that know what a large cap S&P index is. There are others that you just think I just spoke a different language, right? And if that's the case, we can help you a lot to make sure your risk is aligned inside your 401k, to make sure your investments are allocated, not only your existing, but your ongoing investments. All that stuff we can easily help people do and do so for clients.
Yeah, and that's one of the fundamental how-tos, and that's what we're covering today is how do you actually implement these strategies? How do you make selections in your retirement account in preparing for getting closer to retirement? I would say, how do we reduce the risk? Do we need to move everything over to cash or to bonds when we're closer to retirement in that 401k, Billy?
Yeah, and we've talked about that before. That's one of the biggest mistakes that we see people make, is as they approach retirement, they go from all in to all out. And at no point in time are you going to spend your entire 401k in 1 year's time frame. So you actually have risked yourself completely off, which means you took all opportunity off the table at the same time. And you might have $500, $600, $800, $1 million. And if we have a good market year and you miss out on a 15 or 20% gain with that larger account balance, that has just as much of a drastic impact as being too risky and losing too much, right? So it all needs to be properly allocated to fit your retirement, and that's one of the things we can do. But inside your 401k might be restricted.
Right. Yeah, because you've got to take a look to see what those options are. Are you over 59 and a half? Can you do something like an in-service rollover? Have an independent financial advisor help you? Just always what I like to point out on the flip side of the coin on the risk. Because people will often say, well, at least I can't lose anything. I'm going to go over to say, at least I can't lose anything. You are losing. You're losing to things like inflation, you're losing to things like increased taxes over time, and you're losing out on the possibility of gaining 5 or 10 or 15% in the markets. There is loss. It's just a different way of looking at it.
It's opportunity cost, right? I mean, that's, at the end of the day, when you look at it, you're losing out on this concept of opportunity cost. But a lot of people think, I can't move my 401k because now I'm going to have to pay tax.
Yes.
And that is an assumption made. But you know what? You don't have to. There is a how-to. How to roll over your 401k without paying tax is you move all pre-tax balances, you establish an IRA, and you move your pre-tax balance of your 401k into an IRA, and you will incur zero tax. And it's very likely that there will be zero fees on that transfer, maybe $25 to send it out in the mail, right? And it's usually about a 10-minute phone call in order to help move your existing 401k or an old 401k and an old employer, you don't even work there anymore, right? It's a simple 10-minute call, no taxation, no fees on the rollover. You establish an IRA, and now the entire investment world's open for you, so you can properly structure safe assets where it needs to be safe, but also growth assets where you need growth. And you need both for a successful retirement.
Folks, you can find out exactly how to get your own retirement design very simply by calling the phone number right now. There are people standing by. They'll schedule an appointment for you. If you're wondering how do you exactly roll over your 401k, how do you change your investments when you leave employment to going into retirement, how do you catch up if you're feeling behind, it all starts with a phone call. Dial that phone number right now. Get your own no-cost retirement design started with financial advisor Billy Voiles. More retirement design differently right after this.
Changing from now being an entrepreneur and running our own business and working with clients, it's challenging, but that's what makes it fun, right? If you woke up and did the same exact thing every day, made a widget, and then the next day you make another widget, and the next day you make another widget, this really, every day is a new day. And every client, all their plans are going to be different. They're going to be designed specifically for them, because you can't create a cookie cutter plan today that's going to fit everybody. That's not how it works. In order for it to be the best, it has to be tailored specifically to them. Meeting with people is fantastic. We love doing events. We do events all over the Twin Cities. I love speaking in front of people and educating, providing people education for their retirements. I enjoy putting the plans together and knowing that it'll set them on the right path that they need to be on for retirement. Do you own an annuity? Are you aware of what type of annuity you own? For years, annuities have been a cornerstone of retirement planning, but they're not all created equal. And your current annuity might not be serving your retirement goals. The good news is, rising interest rates could mean better guarantees and better benefits for your annuity. If your annuity is not working for you, when would you like to know? Call now for your complimentary annuity review.
Welcome back to Retirement Designed Differently with financial advisor Billy Voiles. Today, how-tos. How do you actually implement the strategies for your retirement planning? And it's great. You're pulling back the curtain. Does that mean that you're Oz? You are the Wizard of Oz? You are the Wizard of Financial Oz, and we're pulling back the curtain. So, okay, tell me this then. How do we maximize and how do we time the withdrawals so I don't run out of money? I mean, look, we've got these retirement accounts. A spouse will have their retirement accounts and their investment accounts. How do we bring this all together and actually create an income plan?
Well, one of the things is when do you start Social Security, Spike?
Oh, man, you just threw one back at me.
It's one of the foundational aspects of income planning in retirement is when should I take my Social Security? Because that's going to help us to guide this foundational income that we like to create in retirement. But we need to start with maximizing the benefit from Social Security. So how are we going to do that?
Well, that's why I look to you. But because you can go to SSA.gov.
Yes.
You can sign up on your own. You can find out how much you're going to get paid depending on when you turn it on. But I've also found out that's not necessarily an income plan either. Yeah. Most people are just kind of looking at the monthly amount they're going to get paid and go, oh, well, that looks like a good amount. I guess I'll go ahead and start it here. But that doesn't work together with my investments. Now I've got to guess over here as well. Yeah. What can we do to kind of pull it all together?
Yeah, and that's part of it. So one of the things is people have this, there's opinions on Social Security. And there's sort of thoughts that are like, I want to take it as early as possible or I'm going to wait till 70. And then some are like, no, I'm taking it at 65 because of Medicare. I'll match it up with Medicare. And other people are, I'm going to take it at full retirement age because that's my full due. And it's all age-based. But it's not needs-based. They haven't thought about their health situation. Yeah. They haven't thought about their longevity risks. And they haven't thought about taxes. So without considering those other aspects, I would question just starting it based on your age alone. I think how to start your Social Security, you need to analyze your tax situation, your health, your longevity risks, and go back to opinions. We integrate the opinions. I don't mind. You want to try to take it as soon as possible because you have the opinion that it's going to go broke? Fine. We'll work within your desires there to take it as soon as possible, but it has to work within the plan. It has to also fit the concept of tax plan, income plan, longevity plan, health plan, et cetera.
Right. And I'll pose this to the audience because I know the answer for me is how many times have you ever gotten the math wrong? Any of the math. I know how much math I've gotten wrong in my life. And you don't want to get this wrong. You don't want to lose out on the spend. So when you say the phrase longevity risk, here's what we mean, is outliving that savings, living a healthier life. We all on this planet are living longer than we ever have before. Yeah. So I think, what are some of the average numbers? I think for women, it's somewhere around 87, 88. For men, it's 85, 86-ish. Right? And those are averages. So we're looking at having to make sure our funds last almost to 90s. How long do you like to take the income plan out for you to feel comfortable? What ages do you like?
It depends on the clients, because we're going to ask the hard questions, and we're going to ask the difficult questions about, let's talk about your parents, let's talk about, are they still around, how healthy are they, if they did happen to pass away, what caused it, talk about aunts and uncles, different people. Like, longevity risks is not random to a certain extent. And then we're going to talk about your health. I'm going to ask you about your health. I'm going to ask you what medicines or different things you're on. Do you have life expectancy limiting diseases or whatever? We need to talk about that, because our retirement design differently is all about efficiency. We have to build the most efficient retirement for you, right? And my wife cannot believe how fast I run errands. Okay? She is shocked. I can go, we live in Stillwater, so I can run to the Cub in Stillwater or run to the Target in Stillwater, and it's about 7 minutes drive to either store, right on Market Drive there. A lot of you Stillwater folks know exactly what I'm talking about. Might see me there, say hi, I'll be there. But I'll run into Target and I'll run an errand and I'll go for my 4 things, Spike. I don't go to Target to roam Target. I go for my 4 things, because that's the most efficient way to do it. And then I'm back home in like 18 minutes. So I was in the store for 4 to 5 minutes. She's like, how on earth are you back? And it's all about efficiency. You go in, you do the job, you have a purpose, you get it done, you move on. And in retirement, efficiency is there too. We're talking about efficiency of Social Security. We're talking about efficiency of income. We're talking about efficiency of your investments. Don't have fee drags on your mutual funds that are dragging down the performance. But if we are efficient in all these different areas, we can add a massive, massive change, massive impact to your retirement plan.
Let me just ask you that then real quick. How do you, on the How-To Show, how do you find that fee drag? For a regular viewer out there, we can look at things like expense ratio and see what a fund costs us. But where do you find all of those fees, and how do you report that for your clients/viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 3 different types of analysis softwares that we go through. The first is the 30,000-foot view. It's going to be a very high-level look at your portfolio. Then we're going to go down to the 10,000-foot view, and we can dive into each individual holding to figure out how much are you paying for these. And I thought, it was one of my best friends, Spike, actually, and he's still in his 40s, and he had this old Roth IRA that he really wasn't paying attention to, and we talked about it. And I analyzed the portfolio for him, and I was like taking a look at it. And he had a fund in there with an expense ratio of 1.9%. And he used to work in his 20s. He had his Series 7 and worked in New York on Wall Street. And he did not know that this fund had a 1.9% expense ratio. And not only that, it wasn't performing to back it up. And it was in his Roth IRA, which you want to be the best performing vehicle you possibly have. Now, it was only like $35,000 for him. We made the change. Now we're managing it. And, but this is an example of someone who's very well educated, in the space itself, who just wasn't just paying attention to all the details. So we do that portfolio analysis for you to tell you how much risk you're taking and how much fees you're paying. And I would say 8 out of 10 are shocked at the results of how much risk is in their portfolio and how much fees they're paying.
For you, one of our viewers, you can call the phone number right now. Let's find out exactly how much you're paying in fees and how much risk you're taking in the portfolio that you're using. And you might say to yourself, well, it's in my 401k at work. There's nothing I can do about it. That's not true, especially if you're over the age of 59 and a half. Let's do a review. Let's find the most efficient funds and the most efficient risk for what you are trying to accomplish. It is no cost for our television viewers who call that phone number right now on the bottom of the screen. There are folks standing by, or you can scan the QR code, because I know that you're thumbing through your phone right now as well. Open up the phone to the camera function, point it at the box, and click on it. You can schedule your own appointment with the team here from Retirement Design Differently and Fundamental Wealth Designs, right here in Minnesota. Don't go anywhere. More how-tos of your retirement planning right after this.
Social Security is easy, right? The question is, should I take it now or later? Well, there are dozens and dozens of ways to take Social Security if you're single, and even more if you're married. The decisions you make can also impact how much you pay in taxes. You've paid into it for decades. Don't you want to make sure you optimize your retirement income? You could increase your income by tens of thousands of dollars just by being informed. Unfortunately, the Social Security office is not allowed to give you financial planning advice. There are thousands of online calculators that will tell you how much you will receive from Social Security. Now, you need to build that into a retirement income plan with the rest of your assets. Get your own tailored retirement income and Social Security strategy with us here at Fundamental Wealth Designs. Do you own an annuity? Are you aware of what type of annuity you own? For years, annuities have been a cornerstone of retirement planning, but they're not all created equal. And your current annuity might not be serving your retirement goals. The good news is, rising interest rates could mean better guarantees and better benefits for your annuity. If your annuity is not working for you, when would you like to know? Call now for your complimentary annuity review.
Welcome back. You're with financial advisor Billy Voiles, and retirement designed differently. It's designed differently because every single one of you viewers is completely different. You are unique snowflakes here in Minnesota, and we've got to make sure that your retirement is designed differently because it's not the same retirement as our parents or grandparents. It is very different today. You know what, Billy? As we do, you might need a financial advisor if. I'm really surprised that this question keeps coming up. I actually thought it was a lot simpler. It has to do with RMDs.
Yeah.
You might need a financial advisor if.
Yeah.
What is that, Billy?
You might need a financial advisor if you're unsure of how to take your required minimum distributions or your RMDs. So let's start with what is an RMD. So an RMD is a required, keyword, minimum distribution, and it's from your pre-tax balances of your IRAs, your 403Bs, your 401Ks, your 457s, all that stuff. And what you have to do is you have to aggregate all those balances on an individual basis. That's one key. It's individual, it's not spousal. On an individual basis, your total balance as of December 31st is calculated. And then throughout that next year, you're going to need to take a percentage withdrawal rate based upon your life expectancy. Now that's pretty confusing.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Spike?
Yeah. Well, in fact, I remember the law used to be you have to take it by April 1 following the year that you turn 70 and a half. And that could only have been written by Congress. So it's a little bit easier now. It used to be 72, I think last year, 73 now. Yeah. So in that year, somewhere in it, you have to start taking percentages out. So again, how do you do RMDs, required minimum distributions? Do you have to take it equally from all of your non-taxed accounts? Can you take it from one? Can you take it from one spouse? Does it count for both of you if you're filing jointly? Come on, Billy, I'm lost already.
And, you know, we recently had a couple come in, and this was their main reason for coming in, is they were just confused, uncertain about really like what was the best approach to take RMDs. And there is a very cool investment strategy actually when it comes to taking RMDs, because the old adage buy low, sell high is terrific, or the old buy and hold strategy can work very well. But unfortunately with RMDs, you are forced to distribute, or forced to sell, or forced to liquidate at some point in the year. So if markets are down and you have a really high risk investment and now you're forced to sell your stock when the markets are down, it's going against, you know, Buffett's rule number one, you know, so you don't want to do that.
And to say Warren Buffett's rule number one is never lose money, right? And number two rule is go see rule number one.
Go see rule number one, but you're forced to do so. So this RMD time actually provides an opportunity for us to go back to that concept of margin of safety, where it's like we want a safe asset where if markets are down, we start pulling our money out of our safer asset, right? But if markets are roaring, then like last year, 2024, we're taking money out of the markets accounts, right? 2025 so far, a little bit of mixed bag depending on the time of year, but we're taking our money out of our money market accounts or fixed annuity structures, whatever it might be in the safer investment strategy, so it can allow the time for the market to recover from the at-risk strategies. So this is an RMD strategy that we employ all the time. It's a fantastic strategy. We could show you how it improves back to the efficiency. It improves the efficiency of your portfolio by allowing you to keep your stocks when they're down.
Let's especially on the how-tos, because there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there. If we want to get tax efficient in retirement, your book here, To Roth or Not to Roth, it talks about doing Roth conversions. If you do a Roth conversion, and you've got that Roth account, and that money has been in there for at least 5 years, so it starts on the 5-year time clock. But you've got this for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years. Do you have to take out RMDs if you've done a Roth conversion on your account already?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You do not have to take RMDs from your Roth accounts. So for these clients that we had just recently met, he was already 70 years old. So we only have 3 years in order to do Roth conversions. But for many of our clients, the whole concept of their tax plan is to basically free up their assets. So by the time RMDs start at 73, or in 2033, it's actually going to be extended to 75. So if we can structure your Roth conversions to when RMDs start, you don't have any required minimum distributions whatsoever, it becomes a flexible tax plan. And there's an extension of that called this power of zero, or this 0% tax. I want to get to a 0% tax bracket. It's possible, but you can't wait. You need to start today, because we know that as of today, we only have 2025 at today's tax brackets. We're likely to only have about a 3 to 4 year window. So how do you get to a 0% tax bracket? Or how do you get to a tax-free inheritance for your kids? You have to start tax planning today. You have to start implementing Roth conversions today, and we're going to give you that information through our tax planning strategies and through our book, To Roth or Not to Roth.
That power of zero is exactly what we're talking about. If you want to find out what a Roth strategy can do for you to get to a tax-free lane, a tax-free bucket of income in retirement, and not have to worry about those RMDs, not have to worry about the provisional income on your Social Security, call right now. Call the phone number. When you schedule an appointment, we'll get you a complimentary copy of the book, or I tell you what, just call, we'll send you one. You can read it, then come in. Thank you so much for watching Retirement Designed Differently. Get the copy of your book, To Roth or Not to Roth. We'll be back again next week.